Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastien. It's Wednesday, March 4th. It's great having you back with us. A teenager, one of two men questioned in connection with the death of Long Island mother and daughter 62-year-old Jane Harding and 34-year-old Melissa Huey, was arraigned today in Magistrates Court. The teen stood before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of rape. 19-year-old Nathan Harding of Long Island was not required to enter a plea to these charges. The bodies of the mother and daughter were found last Friday, buried in shallow graves on a beach in Salt Pond, Long Island. The 2 women were last seen at their home in Salt Pond on February 25th. Huey's employees at Long Island Petroleum were alarmed when she did not come into work, something they say rarely happened. They in turn expressed their concerns to the police. After a search of Huey's home, it was discovered that Harding, mother of 2 and retiree, was also missing. In court today, prosecutors alleged that on the 25th of February, the teen sexually assaulted Huey and her mother. It is further alleged that between the 25th and the 28th of February, he murdered both women. During his arraignment, Harding's attorney, Beyond Ferguson, requested that his client be remanded to the Sandlands Rehabilitation Center to be evaluated by the psychiatric team, as Harding had attempted to self-harm multiple times. The chief magistrate, however, said due to the nature of the crime, he would have to be remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections, adding that she would make a note that he be seen by a psychiatrist there. Harding is set to return to court on the 21st of May, where he will be served with a voluntary bill of indictment. In news from Parliament, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest says his ministry will provide the Ministry of Health with $4 million to prepare for the coronavirus if it reaches the Bahamas. In the House of Assembly today, Mr. Turnquest said his government is monitoring the pandemic worldwide and is taking the necessary measures to fund the healthcare system to brace for the effects on the country, as the virus has serious risk on the country's trade and travel industries.
We will continue to monitor the coronavirus outbreak carefully, ensuring that we take the necessary steps both to fund critical healthcare support and to adjust fiscal priorities if the economy is impacted in any material way. In respect to the coronavirus and the government's preparatory steps, Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to advise that the Ministry of Finance is presently processing a contingency fund application for the Ministry of Health in the sum of $4 million to provide direct support for the ministry in its efforts to ensure that the country is ready, as it can be, in the face of this potential health crisis.
Mr. Turnquest says, if necessary, his government will supplement the funding to provide additional resources as required in order to minimize the infection and spread of the virus in the Bahamas. The Deputy Prime Minister explains how the $4 million will be used.
Among other things, this funding will be used to expand preparation of quarantine and isolation facilities, to purchase protective gear for health workers and medical supplies to infected persons, to provide funding for ground transportation and air ambulance services for quarantined and infected persons as may be necessary, and to fund the expansion of healthcare facilities via temporary arrangements should the same become necessary.
He added that the government is being cautious and his ministry has developed contingency plans to address the potential economic and fiscal fallout. Opposition Leader Philip Davis, in his contribution to the House, thanked the government for its additional resources to help fight the risk of the coronavirus in the country. Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands, in the House of Assembly, reiterated his ministry's task force, which he says has a robust plan in place to respond to the known and possible ongoing threats of the virus. Also from Parliament today, Deputy Leader of the Opposition Chester Cooper is requesting that the government lay on the table the details in regard to the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort in Grand Bahama. In the House of Assembly, Mr. Cooper says he remains skeptical of any deal struck by the FNM administration, thus he wants to see details.
I request that the government, the administration, lay on the table the heads of agreement on this matter, inclusive of all of the schedules, inclusive of details of any rebates, any concessions, any payments that go back to the developer, the new owners, and any side agreements that might We are further concerned about the financial deal in relation to the retirees.
Mr. Cooper adds that the devil is in the details, but he remains hopeful as Grand Bahama needs a break. Mr. Cooper says he hopes the deal works for the people of Grand Bahama. After expressing doubt in the sale of the resort, Mr. Cooper was quickly rebutted by Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar, who said that the Lucayan Resort will provide thousands of jobs for Bahamians and future financial returns for the economy of Grand Bahama.
The sales price is $50 million. But we are also receiving the insurance proceeds. Okay, so and we project that they will take us back to the 65 million. So we spend 65 million, we get 65 million back. So let's just wash that aside. Yes. So there are some operating losses, we understand that. Yes. Think about the future revenue stream. Yes. And all the jobs it's going to create. Yes. 3,000 indirect and direct jobs.
On Monday, the government signed a purchase and sales agreement and the heads of agreement for the Grand Lucayan Resort on the island. $1.2 million has been allocated by the government for restoration efforts under the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and that includes cleaning up the Kendall G. L. Isaacs National Gymnasium that housed Hurricane Dorian evacuees. The gymnasium was home to Abaconians and Grand Bahamians who were displaced after the storm. According to Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Lanisha Rowe, clean-up provisions were made to the ministry through the supplementary budget. The minister added that the gymnasium did sustain some wear and tear due to persons living there.
We have started to begin our sterilizing process of the entire gymnasium. Certainly, in addition to that, there are some repairs that are needed. There is an inspection scheduled, I think, by the end of the week. Began restoration efforts, and that's not only with the NSA, that's also with our Family Island, in particular Grand Bahama office that was totally sort of demolished to an extent in terms of the hurricane and all of our everything from that office. It was underwater, and so we're going to begin those things in a sort of structured format, but hopefully be able to give a timeline to you as soon as possible once we've completed this initial inspection of the NSA facilities. Now
the minister and relevant authorities will take part in a walkabout of the gymnasium. Mrs. Rowe added that the $1.2 million will also help with repairs to the ministry's Family Island offices, particularly Grand Bahama's facilities that were severely damaged. The Department of Environmental Health Services, Pan American Health Organization, and a vector control team carried out inspection of the Kendall G. L. Isaacs Gymnasium last year, but they found that conditions at the gym were unsatisfactory at the time. Well, in news from the Labor Front, Water and Sewage Corporation employees, that is the Water and Sewage Management Union members in Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera, sat out today due to mold in the building. In a press statement from WSMU, the building has long been infested with mold and constant leaking. WSMU President Montgomery Miller says he's advised his managers to remain outside the building until the issue is addressed.
The situation has been going on since 2017, and only as recently as Monday did I, as union president, advise the manager to stay outside of the building, which the corporation by its own admission is known to be unsafe for human habitation, contravening both our industrial agreement and the Health and Safety Act 2002.
Mr. Miller added that when complaints were made to the corporation, it was covered up by the WSC.
An attempt by the corporation was made to cover it up. The public analyst, who represents the Department of Environmental Health Services, contacted a representative of the corporation and was not provided with the information necessary to further his investigation. From 2017, information has been provided and approval was given by the former general manager to move these employees.
With this latest development, both unions stand firm in their demands for the removal of WSC's executive chairman, Adrian Gibson. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.